Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it's going to be, in my honest opinion, one of, if not the best Descendants for breach tracking, just full stop. And this, my friends, is Lepic. So let's get right on into the build and let's get right on into today's video. So starting off with Lepic, we are going to be focusing on a mobbing style build, very fast paced and aggressive mobbing. So let's start off with the module for maneuvering, which is going to be mid-air. We are going to be taking advantage of as much movement as we can with this Descendant, just so that we can ball out and go crazy with every single thing on his kit. So that's fairly simplistic. Now for the red mod, I've heard plenty of Goo Gaga silly donkeys use nerve infiltration. The damage might look good, but this is a bad mod in general because of speedrunning purposes and convenience. If you follow this guide on this video, I will show you exactly why you don't need any other red mod other than explosive stacks. Now, work with me. For explosive stacks, the way that we are going to be using this is we are going to cap out the cooldown and then basically have infinite grenades on his one. And it's going to be an absolute cluster fuck of nades, and it's going to be great. So let's first focus on Lepic's cooldown. So with cooldown, you are going to want to go all the way to cooldown cap, meaning you're going to want to go with focus on modules, so MP conversion, nimble fingers, focus on tech, and focus on fire. Now, I've also heard some donkeys say Lepic is not worth it with crit. This is again very silly. Lepic is a crit Descendant at heart, and he's got very good stats to back this up, and even with Ancestors, you can make him absolutely ridiculous. And he also does have a 60% crit damage on his boost on his second ability, so Lepic again needs to be built into crit. So we're going to go Insight, Concentration, Emergency Measures, as well as Front Lines. Now, again, Lepic needs range because we're going to be relying on his third ability quite a fair bit. So you're just going to slap on 2 range mods and your Lepic is literally done. As simple as it gets with the build, this is literally it. Chances are you're probably even running something similar to this already, but it's the way that we play Lepic which is going to make a massive difference this time around. So, trigger mod. Again, I've seen plenty of donkeys talk about Blazing Zone being a good option on Lepic. With Nerve Infiltration, you can make this work with an Ancestor mod that requires a lot of crit rate. Is it worth it? No, it's not worth it. Especially compared to the speed and DPS you can get out of explosive stacks and good all power beyond, you're going to be significantly better off with this. So, yeah. Remember, this also does inflict Tor on mobs as well, so Lepic's third ability and Power Beyond, even with his fourth, can both give you MP back. So, let's go on into the other parts of Lepic's build and setup. So, let's first have a quick look at the Reactor. Before that, real quick though, we're just going to slap in the weapon, and the weapon we will be using is the Python. The Python is going to be our weapon of choice, which is probably something you weren't expecting. So, for the Reactor, we are going with cooldown, and we are also going with tech. It's a fire and tech reactor, of course, because Lepic is a fire-type Pokemon, and he's also a tech-type Pokemon. So, that's pretty simple, nice and easy. Next up, we are going to go with the external components. Now, with Lepic, there is 2 ideal options. Option number 1 is going to be Slayer set. So Slayer set is the first option and the option I would recommend going with. Option number 2 is going to be, not Mage. Option number 2 is going to be the Hunter set. Hunter set is another good option, especially if you want to go balls to the walls with spamming abilities as well. But Slayer will also regenerate MP. Slayer will regen MP when you use your abilities, especially your third one, and Hunter will just give you MP all the time after you're below 50%. Personally, I do prefer Slayer set, so that's what we are going to be going with for this video. Slayer set with max HP, MP recovery out of combat, max MP, MP recovery in combat, and MP recovery modifier and electric resistance or defense is going to be good, with max shield, shield recovery modifier, or toxic resistance. Now for the external component cores, just max HP and defense across every single one of them. fairly simple. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be all you actually want to go with for your external components. Next up, let's have a quick look at the arcade tuning tree. Now, this tree is going to be completely exactly what you expect, as every tree is with these Descendants. So we're going to go down, we're going to go across, and we're going to go pick up our skill power. Then we're going to go all the way up to cooldown, and we're going to pick up some cooldown. Next up, we are going to go up to this node over here, and then we are also going to grab our 4 crit damage nodes as well. Now, with this Ancestor node, this Mutant cell node up here, you've got a fair few options. Option number 1 for most consistent damage would be Fire Cohesion. If you want to rely on your third ability a little bit more, using Fire Forced Rally will also be a very good option, because this gives you a ridiculous amount of skill power after you use your third ability. And then the third option I was looking at was Arcade Reload, which does give a little bit more crit rate. So if you are not using an Ancestor mod, this might be the one that you want to go with as well. Bear in mind the cooldown is a little bit long, but it's still a decent option. And just as a quick reminder, this is based off your Descendant's base amount of crit rate, so I don't think that you're just going to get an 85% buff. So in this instance, I do use Fire Cohesion just for consistency purposes, because I like to be consistent. So yeah, that pretty much wraps the tree up. Next up, let's have an actual look at the weapons as well. So with the actual weapons, what I will be doing is just using the Python. Now, I've got a purple fire rate core on here. Forgive me, because I completely forgot to roll it to gold. I've got the cores, I just need to do it. Don't worry, I'll do it right after this video. For the actual cores and substats on here though, you just want fire rate on your top core, firearm attack, fire rate on the green core, sprint speed, and a grapple core, ideally. So, yeah. The substats don't really matter too much, and the weapon doesn't really matter too much in itself either. The key points on this weapon is going to be brisk walk for a little bit of additional movement, fire rate so that you can spray this weapon. Then we're just going with as much reload and movement speed as we can. So just this is going to be all you need. The key thing is you do not need Firing Fiesta. Firing Fiesta will mess this loop up that you can create with Lepic, so do not use Firing Fiesta. That is a very, very, very key thing. So, inversions. For inversions, I went with the skill cost inversion, because obviously I like to have my abilities cost a little bit less. And then I've also gone with a probabilistic recovery system, just for a little bit of a chance of MP, and then pain suppression, which is going to give me a little bit more health. So that pretty much wraps up the inversion side of all of this as well. So let's have a quick look at the Ancestor mods for Lepic 2. Now, Ancestor mods are a massive, massive, massive giga buff for Lepic. So, out of the Ancestor mods, there's a lot of options. The one I've gone with, or the one I'm using, is a crit rate in red, crit damage in purple, and a cooldown in blue. And I'll use this and replace emergency measures. Now, with this as well, the way that the mod works is you need crit rate to get 100% crit rate on Lepic, so that is a non-negotiable. Crit damage, same story, you want as much damage as Lepic can do. For the third stat, either cooldown would be good if you want to build into way more DPS. Let's say, for example, this cooldown was a little bit higher. What I would be able to do on the arcade tuning tree would be something like remove this node over there. Then I'd be able to go across here and then just go straight up here and go that way. This would also give me more duration on his towing grenade, and then I can just slap on one more power node over there, for example. But for me, the most important thing is being cooldown capped. So I'm not going to do that because my cooldown on the Ancestor is just a little bit too low. But yeah, you can see something like that. As well as having skill cost on there is not too bad as a third stat. Ideally, you just want crit rate, crit damage in a 2+1 negative format for the highest stats. But cooldown, cost, hell, even range, if you can get it high enough, does work out, because you could get a decent amount coming close up to amplification control. And then the arcade tuning tree will cover the rest. But ideally, just crit rate, crit damage is going to be your go-to for Lepic, with a harmless negative, of course. So that pretty much wraps up the Ancestor mod for Lepic as well. So let's now have a look at some Lepic gameplay. Now, with Lepic gameplay, I'm going to have to just start off immediately by giving a massive shout out to Kinda Foxy. He's an absolute giga chad who has been giving me fair bits of advice with Lepic, and I really appreciate his help. So I just want to give a massive shout out to Kinda Foxy. Link to his YouTube channel will be in the description below. Can my mouse move out the way? I want it to be full screen, please. There you go. So with Lepic, right off the bat, you will see that he goes very aggressive into his third ability. So the way that this will work is you throw your third ability, you throw your second ability down for your crit rate buff and your movement speed buff, and then you just fully automatic press your first ability. For the bosses over here, again, I activate my second ability for the crit damage buff, and then I roll and use my fourth ability to animation cancel the startup animation. So with Lepic, whilst you're doing all of this, you just want to hold the fire rate button as well. So you just press your 3, your 2, you keep pressing your 1, and you're just holding your fire rate button. What this does is allows for the Python to shoot. With this, currently, Lepic will regenerate his grenades on his first ability, and you don't even need to shoot the mobs, you just need to shoot something, which is why the Python is such a great option. You can see my Lepic nades, once they are low, I'll just keep shooting the Python, a few bullets will go down, and I'll get a grenade back really quick, like that for example. You are able to like fully automatically spam your grenades, which is something that is really good, and the damage on this is just absolutely glorious as well. With Lepic, if you do also find yourself fairly close to death or dying, don't worry about it, because his passive ability literally gives you another chance at life. So yeah, crack Descendant to say the least. Over here, again, what you would do is once you pull a big horde in, I like to shoot all 3 grenades, and then if there's any leftovers, I just go in, activate my second ability again, and then just keep spraying the Python to regenerate the grenades and going all in. Lepic, honestly, is really fun in Breach and just fun in mobbing in general, and I would honestly say he's one of, if not the best, options in here, at least for solo. In public, when you find a Blazing Zone Lepic, it makes me want to put my head in the freezer and not come out, and you know, you don't want that. So with Lepic, ideally you just want to be rocking with this simple gameplay loop, and you just want to keep going all in. It is a very hands-on style, but at the same time it's incredibly satisfying watching all these crits pop up on your screen, go crazy with the damage numbers, and honestly, Lepic is just the GOAT, and I truly just think that you should 100% give this man a chance at least, because you're seeing how fast he's wiping everything. Just one traction grenade, second ability once, and then just spraying for infinite nades on his first ability. Goes absolutely ballistic in the playstyle, and bossing even with the grenades is a very optimal strat. So I'll show you how I boss with the nades in here too, because you'd think that, well, his fourth ability is probably the only thing that's good for bosses, right? Wrong. You can use his first ability a lot as well. What you can also do is pre-fire, so you can just use your second ability and then just use your first ability and keep spamming the Python nades, just like this. And you can see even before the boss has gotten around to it, I'd make half of his health go fucking poof, just because I've already got the grenades down. So, simple. Once I do pop the boxes open, you'll see that this run with Lepic was nice and easy. 3 minutes 17 seconds in breach tracking, and yeah, it speaks for itself. I did also have a secret garden on, but you really don't need that. So that pretty much wraps up the Lepic gameplay. Just to quickly prove my concept as well, I'm just going to spray Lepic's nades over here. As you can see, I shouldn't be able to shoot this amount of nades just because of the Python. You can. So yeah, this is a interesting way to go about Lepic grenade spamming, and honestly, one of my favorite playstyles. If anyone does find the red or gold crit rate, crit damage with Ancestor mod with a harmless negative for Lepic, let me know in the comments, or let me know on Discord or something, because I'm willing to pay up to 10,000 caliber for it. So yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!